as we start to hit the almost halfway through the season mark in the NPL here. A day which is cleared up. I'm your commentator, Brandon Galgano, and with me, next to me, is Joel Frucci. Joel, it's been a tough weekend for me, so give me a bit of time to recover. But again, welcome back to the commentary box. A big game today.
Thank you, Brandon. Might bring up why you're so disheartened maybe a little bit later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's an important game. Of course, South Melbourne on 6 points and Gully on 9.
Well, we're going to observe a minute's silence here for George Zumbulakis, a former Green Gully player in the 1960s who passed away this week. So George Zumbulakis, a former Green Gully player in the 1960s and lifelong fan, rest in peace. Great to see both clubs observing that tradition here and the black armbands being worn by the Green Gully players to represent a former player who has gone and no longer around us. But Joel, we'll go back to the football because it is an exciting day, and as we said, a home away from home in many ways for South Melbourne, who have played many home games here. Of course, when the stadium at Lakeside was being redone over the early 2010 periods, they did play their home games here for a few seasons, but now again back before their return to Lakeside Stadium following the Grand Prix. A huge game for South Melbourne following last week's defeat against Pascoe Vale. Surely 3 points is a must today for Contangalakis.
Yeah, it is a must, and I mean, for South Melbourne, while they are away from home, if you like, Brandon, I mean, they need to get as many points as they can and really maximise that run at home that they eventually will have. But what's going to be interesting is where the goals come from. They haven't scored in 3 games, South Melbourne. They've only got 4 goals for the season as a whole. So the big thing for them is really how they find the goals, and that's what we'll be looking out for today.
Well, we will go through the starting lineup. There are a few changes for South Melbourne. Of course, number 1, Nikola Raganovich does come back in. He pulled out late last week with a cold, so Alistair Bray had to debutise in his return to the sticks. But Raganovich is back. Number 2, Perry Lambropoulos. Number 4, Luke Adams. Number 5, Jake Marshall. Number 7, Giuseppe Marifiotti. Number 10, Marcus Shrone. Number 11, the captain, Brad Norton. Number 12, Nick Cruceratis, a former Green Gully player. Number 17, Ethan Gage. Number 18, Konstantinos Stratomitros. And number 45, Jerry Siliados. On the bench, number 23, substitute goalkeeper Amir Jashari. Number 8, Dean Bereveskos. Number 15, Ben Giba. Number 20, Zach Bates. And number 27, Lee Monopoulos. As South Melbourne kick off here in their traditional blue from left to right, from right to left. It's Green Gully in their green and white kit. And well, a long ball over the top does look to find through us. We'll go through the Gully lineup very shortly as an early challenge there. Goes back into Lampard and then inside to Purcell. Good little combination there with Boonis, but again given away. Now a chance here for Green Gully to potentially build this ball forward here, looking to get the tempo going early, and Boonis does get that ball back into his centre-back. So we will go through, of course, quickly. Number 30, Joe Tyson in goals for Gully. Number 3, Jordan Lampard. Number 4, Jordan Hall. Number 6, Daniel Jones. Number 7, Jay Davis. Number 9, Alex Salmon. Number 14, Matt Fletcher. Number 17, Adisiu Bayou. Number 21, Timmy Purcell. Number 23, Jonathan Boonis. And number 25, and the captain, Jeremy Walker. So apologise for skipping through that quite quickly. But again, a solid lineup for Gully. As now Stratomitros tries to get on the ball, but Boonis using his body well and turning back out to Lampard on the left. Crosses into the middle, but Luke Adams is there. Half clearance, Fletcher on the edge of the box. Now Jay Davies, who twists and turns and goes back into Boonis now, and he plays a lovely ball out wide to Walker. First time cross into the middle is dangerous, and falls to Walker again, who tried to drive it into the box, but again given away, and Purcell that time gifting possession. And now it's Cruceratis, a chance to run at his former club, and he's brought down by Purcell. That'll be a free kick, of course. On the bench for Gully, number 1, Lucas Spinella. Number 2, Manny Muscat. Number 11, T-Boy Kamara. Number 16, Will Sianis. And number 19, Michael Sutsiodis. So, again, Joel, a few changes for Gully from last week as well.
Yeah, and interesting that Andy Brennan isn't in the squad today. Of course, former South Melbourne player, former Newcastle Jet. So that's an interesting one. He's a goal scorer, so I wonder if they'll miss him. But interesting start to the game. A bit sort of lackadaisical, if you like, from South Melbourne. Jonathan Boonis has had a fair few touches early, really drifting through midfield. So an interesting one, but of course a giveaway there from Green Gully has possession back.
Well, Boonis, quite an experienced player at this level now, despite only being 24 years old, Jonathan Boonis. And that ball over the top is long, but Ruganovic is off his line quickly. A welcome addition back to the side, of course. Very well stocked in the goalkeeping department, South Melbourne, with Alistair Bray, of course, making his return and long-awaited return from injury. Great to see. The play's certainly been very unfortunate. But on their day, two of the best goalkeepers in the NPL here in Victoria. As that ball goes back to Ruganovic, who is his option closed down by Alex Salmon, and in the end the clearance only goes as far as Purcell. Lambropoulos gets it down. Now Marshall hasn't got much in front of him, so goes back to Ruganovic, who clears expertly well to find Lambropoulos. Under pressure finds Siliardos, who of course makes his return to the starting 11. Marifiotti gets it wide. Cruceratis has a bit of space. Norton trying to make an inside run, but Cruceratis will strike. It's deflected. It falls to Norton, and he just couldn't quite get a toe to the ball there. And Brad Norton, well, he's the longest serving player here now for South Melbourne, and that time hasn't gone on the goals all that often in all those years as the skipper, but that moment there was certainly an opportunity.
Yeah, you're right, Brandon. Well, that was an interesting one. It's the C's almost just parted there for Brad Norton, and perhaps it even surprised him because it seemed to just take everyone by surprise. And of course, those heavy deflections really can go anywhere. An early sider for South Melbourne.
Well, Gage gets on the ball out wide to Norton, who under pressure there from Bayou, and in the end, it's gone all the way back to Ruganovic. So he looks up, and distribution again is on point. Cruceratis loses the ball, ends up getting a toe in to find Norton. Tries to play a 1-2 with Schrone, but he's muscled off it in midfield by Geordie Hall, and it comes back in. Now Boonis. That pass was wayward. Lambropoulos, though, rushing his delivery. And, well, that looked like a high foot there. Referee has stopped it for a potential hand injury here, and Jonathan Boonis is certainly not happy about that. He feels that Lambropoulos had a high foot raised, and it looks like there might be some treatment required here for, it looks like, Stratomitros, who's down. As Jonathan Boonis comes across and just has a bit of a word with the referee.
Early little flashpoints, always good to see. A bit of intent in the game, Brandon. That's what we want to see, of course, because two teams that are fairly close on the table, particularly South Melbourne, they need to show a bit of intent and a bit of purpose early.
Well, Stratomitros gets to his feet slowly, and he'll have to just go off with the South Melbourne medic there, as the referee will look to restart play with a drop ball because he hadn't given a free kick. Now he's instructing Alex Salmon to give the ball back. Jonathan Boonis is still adamant that it should have been a free kick for Gully, but Salmon sportingly gets it back to Ruganovic, and South Melbourne can look to restart play as Stratomitros returns to the field. So the high long ball forward, that time distribution wasn't quite as effective, and it's going to be a throw in here. So Davies, Walker, good challenge there from Norton to win possession back, and Stratomitros that time trying to get his head up and find Siliardos, but headed back to the goalkeeper in Jared Tyson, of course, a former South Melbourne player, spent half a season here last year. That's, well, I would say here is in being a home game for South Melbourne, usually at Lakeside Stadium, but today we're at John Cain Memorial Reserve, so it's Lambropoulos on the ball. And now Schrone does quite well to get that ball back into Siliardos, who's got some space in front of him, and now it's Nick Cruceratis. Can he cut and strike that one? And just puts it over the bar. A really good opportunity there for South Melbourne, and the quick breakaway and the good little rotation from Siliardos to get himself into a central position, opening up the space for Cruceratis, and he just couldn't quite get the shot on target.
Yeah, great turn there from Jerry Salados just to open up the pitch, and real chance there for Chrysoritis. But good signs for South. They were a bit slow out of the blocks, but they've certainly come back into it, and the tide has swung a little bit in their favour. And early doors, Brandon, probably really the only two chances of the game have fallen their way.
It has been a positive start. We did speak about pre-game, the lack of goals coming from South Melbourne, and of course with the sending off of Billy Constantinidis last week. Certainly something which they'll be looking for someone to step up and provide. Now it's Siliardos, who, relishing his return to the starting 11. Chrysoritis cuts in again past Walker. Chrysoritis strikes! Oh, and that time he puts it just wide of that bottom corner. Really good opportunity there for South Melbourne, and again, Siliardos finding Chrysoritis on the edge of the box, and that time, a little bit closer than the first chance, just wide of the post.
Well, that could be the one to watch out for, and clearly for Gully already, two real danger men that have been identified, and Iffy coming out of the back there as well.
Well, certainly won't be happy with this at the moment, the Gully coaching staff, because they've given the ball away again in a dangerous area, and Stratomitros will try and get forward. Walker putting some pressure on. In the end, it is forced back to Norton. Now it's Ethan Gage who assesses the situation, gets it out to Siliardos, who cuts in past Boonis and does really well to find some space, but that time Daniel Jones using just a little bit of experience there to just body the former Melbourne City man, and in the end the long ball forward is just headed down to Gage, who, as he always likes to do, just scurries in between the lines and gets on it, tries to get the ball moving. And now it's Chrysoritis finding Schrone, but he was just marshalled off it. And Schrone looks to take the quick throw, and again Chrysoritis in a dangerous area. No foul, says the referee. So it's going to be Hall who just spreads the plays nicely out to Lampard. Now Boonis just couldn't quite find the feet of Fletcher, but it is going to be well, the referee initially indicated for a Green Gully throw. In the meantime, Lampropoulos has picked up the ball, but it is going to be a Gully ball, which, well, can understand the dismay, because it did look like Boonis just played that ball straight out of play.
Yeah, well, a sloppy bit of play as well from Gully, and we mentioned, Brandon, that they had started fairly well, but after that probably first 90 seconds, they've really sort of lost control of the game. It's all South at the moment.
Well, Gage again doing well. Now Stratomitros certainly coming out with plenty of attacking intent at the moment, South Melbourne, and Chrysoritis looks up, switch of play, Siliardos has Lampard in between, does well in the end, the Green Gully left back, and it will be a corner kick here for South Melbourne. Of course, as we mentioned last week, and over the last few weeks, to be fair, they have finished strongly despite going down to 10 men in both of those games. Number of chances against Kingston, of course, a famous night for Nate Cavaliere in the Kingston City goal, making a number of critical saves to make sure Kingston got away with the points that night. And then last week it was Pascoe Vale who got the points despite a late flurry from South Melbourne. So certainly we'll be hoping to take some of these early chances more South. Now Tyson looks to release early, but Lampropoulos is there, gets it down. Gage. Oh, Siliardos has done well there to get that down. He just couldn't quite get it away from Jones, though. Now Daniel Jones looks up again, and again the long ball goes only as far as Marshall. Gage, former Canadian youth international, Ethan Gage, finds Chrysoritis, but Walker marshalling him well. That's going to be an intriguing battle, of course. Two former teammates. Jeremy Walker, widely renowned as one of the best fullbacks outside of the A-League in Australia. Of course, had A-League experience with the Melbourne Heart before they were renamed as the now known Melbourne City. As it's going to be another throw-in for Green Gully.
Jerry Salados, I mean, we've already mentioned him. He's been very, very dangerous early, very involved, very lively, and he's a great little player, Brandon. I love watching him play, and of course, instantly recognisable with the headwear, and so yeah, someone that's I would like to see get another go at a higher level. I think he had a trial with Newcastle Jets before the season started. Didn't quite work out for him, but showing today exactly why he earned that chance as well. And well, he's got Cold Hero written all over him, and we can tell from the very vocal support here today that that's just the case.
Well, it's an interesting one, hasn't it been? Because he started off quite strongly, I thought, in the league this year, but then found himself out of the starting 11 for a few weeks. And again, has now earned him spot back into this squad. Now, the referee is coming across, and Brad Norton is quite animated out there. And the referee is just going to have a little bit of a chat here with Ethan Gage. Not quite sure what about. In the end, the Canadian, it looks like, I can assume, got a warning. But Green Gully will continue the play. And it's going to be a throw-in for South Melbourne. Walker did take it quickly, but again, it's going to be a South Melbourne ball. So Brad Norton right in front of the benches there as that ball flicks out for another Green Gully throw. As we tick into the 14th minute here of, or 13th minute rather, of play, and well, after a fast start, Green Gully have somewhat slowed the initial tempo from South Melbourne. Although a good win there and a good little combination from Siliados gets that ball back central, and now it's Ethan Gage. Just maybe tried a little bit too much on it there, but has still kept possession of it. That one putting Adams under a little bit of pressure. He's forced to clear. Chris Siliados kept it alive, but Green Gully, their initial attempt to recoup possession has failed as it ends up with Marshall at centre-back. Now Marcus Schroen, another one they'll look to get on a lot more than they have in previous weeks. And that pass from Stratomitros goes out for a throw. Well, we saw a few really interesting results actually in the NPL over the last few days. Of course, it is a real tight run race, but well, the clear leader at the moment is Avondale. Of course, getting a big result yesterday with a 2-1 win against Melbourne Knights. That one played at Avenger Park. And Heidelberg United, of course, with a 4-1 win against Altona Magic as well. So a few really important results for those clubs. Of course, Heidelberg recovering from last week's defeat against Oakley. But it is still Avondale setting the pace here on 21 points.
Yeah, well, Avondale looking unbelievably good, Brandon. Of course, haven't dropped any points so far this season. They've got just talent across the board. Obviously, Stefan Zinni, Liam Boland is way out in front in the scoring charts, I believe, with 8 at the moment. But I mean, the game this round that really stood out for me was, of course, the Dandy derby between City and Thunder. Of course, Dandy City down the bottom and well, 3-0 up, and they dropped it 4-3. Dandy Thunder came home and snatched the game from them. And well, they're just down in the doldrums at the moment. So I watched them against Hume City last week, and defensively they were just incredibly sloppy at ABD. Went down 5-1, and obviously to lose against your local rivals when you're 3-0 up is not what you want, and it's going to take a bit for them to get out of the position they're in.
Well, an incredible night that was out at Frank Hollow Reserve. Now it's a chance here on the meantime. And it's Bayou here who initially beats Lambropoulos. Good ball into the box. It falls in towards Fletcher. Now out to Boonis, flicks it up to himself, then gets it out wide to Walker here, who can cross. He's got numbers in the box. Likes to go back to Boonis. Now slips in Walker. Great pass there. And Walker clips in the middle. Salmon was by himself, and, well, he just, I think, tripped maybe on the grass in there, but it was certainly looking like a really good opportunity for a moment because he found himself some space, Alex Salmon, and in the goal-scoring form he's in at the moment, it was almost likely that was going to be the lead there for Green Gully.
I almost wonder, Brandon, if Alex Salmon just misread that ball because he's in such good form. I mean, it's clearly nothing wrong with his confidence. So I mean, it just looked like a simple misread and got his wires crossed there. It completely went by him. So I mean, I think that's probably what I have to put it down to. But good little play there, good little bit of play there from Gully with Boonis and Walker. He's been very good early. Boonis, he's probably one that South really needs to make sure they keep the clamps on because he's been getting a lot of possession and really advancing the ball through midfield.
Well, now it's Davies who looks to get himself into the box. A half-hearted shout for a penalty, not heeded to by the referee. You just see slowly Gully starting to get themselves into this contest. Of course, as we said, a few early chances fell the way of South Melbourne, but they've somewhat marshalled that little period of dominance that the home side has had. Now it's a high ball forward towards Marafiotti. Siliados with a good ball, but goes all the way back to Tyson. High and long clearance up towards Salmon, grappling with Marshall, who in the end gets a header away for a throw. So Lampard picks it up, just looks for the runs ahead of him. Salmon tried to find Bayou, but in the end that pass rolls straight forward to Reganovic. So it's going to be another clip forward, and that time again Reganovic wasn't quite able to hit his target. And when we just speak about the table, and at the moment South Melbourne sitting in 11th place on 7 points, Gully in 8th on 10. Well, that's if this result stays the same, of course. They both get a point. That ball into the box. Now Reganovic claims. So South Melbourne on 6 points and Gully on 9 at the moment. And again, it would be something which, if either side can get a result, of course, it would get them closer to that top 6. Of course, at the moment in 6th place is Pascoe Vale on 10, but they're level with Hume and Altona Magic along with the Dandenong Thunder. So it really is such a close run race at the moment, that mid-table battle for spots in the top 6. It is very early on to look at the table in the season, but still, you can just see now the top few breaking away in Avondale, Bentley and Melbourne Knights, surprisingly. But that middle pack is certainly all keeping tabs on each other at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly, Brendan, you're right in saying that there has been... You probably have to say a little sort of subsection of the front runners that have come forward early. Obviously, Avondale, Melbourne Knights, Heidelberg are starting to creep back up there after a bit of a slow start to the season. A couple of defeats, of course, one actually against Green Gully 4-2, and then a shock loss a couple of weeks ago against Oakley 2-1. But then you're right, that middle rung of teams is very tight, really. So every point, it's of course an old cliche, but every point is going to be crucial, particularly at this stage of the season. And obviously. Today is one of those days where those 3 points will be massive, given the short distance between the teams, and the win really will either put some separation between Gully and South, or of course it will bring the two levels. So a lot to play for.
Well, Salmon goes back into Lampard here, who just recovers possession back to Geordie Hall, who wasn't quite happy with the delivery of that pass, and again Daniel Jones just looking for the long ball over the top. And yet again, it just rolls into Reganovic's feet. Tempo of the game has dropped quite substantially from the opening moments. Of course, it started at such a frantic pace. As that ball goes out wide, but Walker read it well. Couldn't quite get under control, though, and Adams, again with the high ball forward. Chris Aradas tried to get it down, but was marshalled well by Purcell. So that's going to go out for a throw in here for South Melbourne. And Norton that time as well. Just closed off the space there. It's now Shrone. A little combination with Norton, but Norton hit it straight over his head to Davies. Well recovered though by the South Melbourne captain. So Adams shuffles it across to Marshall. Now all the way back to Reganovic, who just gets a touch out his feet and then again pumps it high and long forward. Hall getting it down well. Purcell to Walker under some pressure. So elects to go back to his goalkeeper in Jared Tyson, who plays a really nice ball over the top towards Bayou. That might fall quite favourably for the winger. And that tackle there from Lampropoulos was strong. Now Boonis to Davies. Cuts inside, does Jay Davies. Now looking to advance towards the edge of the box. Bayou whips it into the middle, but Stratomitros was there. Couldn't quite get it under control. Boonis holding it up, turning back. Now striking, but that ball was nowhere near the target. And again, it's going to be out for a goal kick.
Strong play there from Jonathan Boonis. Really, that's what you want from your midfield, just holding the ball up, not letting your opponents have a sniff. And well, you know, a shot at goal, Brandon, might not have been the worst thing early. Gully haven't had a lot of it moving forward, and looks interesting conditions today here in Northcote or Tarrabin, if you like. It's pretty good conditions for football, you'd have to say. It's nice and cool, so we shouldn't see a great deal of fatigue from either side, but it is windy and a bit slippery. So those dipping, swerving efforts from long range certainly worth a go, just to keep your keeper or your opposing keeper accountable.
Well, again, yesterday, certainly the full extent of Melbourne's wet weather climate rather. A number of games affected by the torrential rain that was coming down throughout Melbourne yesterday. Of course, certainly makes for some interesting football. But again, today it's sort of been a mix between a little bit of rain that was falling a little bit earlier when we first arrived at the ground, but now it seems to have petered off a little bit. Still cool conditions though. Again, favourable for most footballers. It allows you to just get yourself into the game and not really overheat like when it's excessively hot. So a chance here now for Gully to come forward as Salmon keeps the ball alive. Or does he? No, says the linesman. So that's going to be a throw in. Of course, we are seeing on the comments here a few questions around South Melbourne's ground. So it's a combination of the Grand Prix and a relaying of the surface at Lakeside Stadium means it is not yet available for football just yet. I believe they are back in a few weeks against Hume City. So that's South Melbourne's next home game. But for the meantime, it is again the home away from home in John Cain Memorial Reserve. A number of home games played here by South Melbourne over the last few years, as that clearance from Tyson wasn't quite what he'd hoped for. Was fortunate to bounce not favourably for a South Melbourne player. Now that pass forward from Marshall put Gage under some pressure, and now Boonis wins the ball back, but hasn't really got much in terms of movement in front of him. But Davies has, and he slips it in. Great ball to Fletcher. This could be a chance across the face, and that's the opening goal. Alex Salmon with his 6th of the season for Green Gully. And just like that, South Melbourne split through the middle of the ground. A great little cutback across the face. And Alex Salmon with the easiest of tasks to put that one in the back of the net. It's 1-0 Green Gully.
Lovely quick play there from Green Gully, straight down the middle. And, of course, Boonis involved. Again, he's been really good in this first half for Green Gully, really leading the show, steering the ship for Gully. And you'd have to say, Brendan, probably against the run of play. I mean, they've come into it a bit recently, probably in the last 5 to 10 minutes, Gully. But overall, still you'd have to say South Melbourne have been the better team. So certainly against the flow. And, well, I was hoping Alex Salmon would score so I can use a Harperism, like a spawning salmon.
You've been telling me you've been wanting to use that one from before the game. And again, Alex Salmon, his 6th goal of the season. A great return for the Green Gully number 9. But again, you've just got to question how South Melbourne got split so easily there centrally. Jay Davis, as soon as he drove at that back four, a great little overlapping run there from Salmon and Fletcher to combine. And now it's Boonis again coming forward. And this next 10-minute period is going to be really important for South Melbourne, because we've seen in the last few weeks where they've gone behind and then they've had to get themselves back into the contest. And it's just been a little bit too little too late. And again, you just see there they'd be so disappointed at being split that easily at the centre of the defence. Yeah, for sure, and particularly after the start they've had, they really wrestled control of the game early doors. Of course, we keep mentioning that Gully probably in the first minute or so, they really did start with a flurry, but after that it was really all South. They firmly wrestled control back, and extremely disappointing. And the challenge for them now is, when you have been in that position, when you have been on top, how you respond to conceding against the run of play. You can't let your heads drop in that position. If they do again, the problem for them has been a lack of goals. So South will not want to find themselves 2 down early in the first half. So Walker under some pressure there from Cruceratis. Now South Melbourne look to come forward, and it's Cruceratis, who was dangerous in the opening exchanges from this area, gets towards the byline and centres. Tyson saves it, falls to Ciliados! 1-1! Great finish from Jerry Ciliados. And just like that, South Melbourne find themselves level. A great run down the left from Cruceratis. He got himself into a really dangerous position, and Jared Tyson just couldn't quite get the save away from the central area. And the South Melbourne number 45 makes it 1-1. Great reply, and we were just talking about it, weren't we, Brandon? But it's a perfect reply from South Melbourne. And to be honest, I thought Jerry Ciliados may have overdone it there by taking a touch, but he controlled it absolutely brilliantly and set it up for himself. And then the second touch to finish was absolutely fantastic. And we could hear the chants from behind us from the Hallis fans. They love him, and the chant of Jerry has firmly gone up. It's what a great goal. Jerry Ciliados, a great finish there. And, a great response from South Melbourne. They really did need that. We questioned where the goals would come from. And, again, he kept his head there to find the back of the net for his 2nd goal of the season. Of course, scored the winner against Dandenong City earlier in the campaign at Lakeside Stadium. But that is certainly well needed here as Green Gully look to get themselves forward again. Bayou gets it back to Lampard. He's done well initially there to keep the ball, but now it's cleared, and Marafiotti turns really well. Unfairly using his hands as the referee. So Now it's Boonus. Now walk up across to Hall. Davies, who's been lively in the centre of midfield. Salmon giving it away poorly there. Schrone looks up for Cruceratus, but that was a really good interception from Geordie Hall. You can just hear the crowd starting to get into this one now. Very passionate bunch of South Melbourne supporters. As that is a foul, according to the referee, on Timmy Purcell. So Adams looks to take it quickly. They want to keep this momentum going, South Melbourne, as Cruceratus now has it on the left, cuts it on his right, looks to centre. Schrone gets it down. Wells as Schrone cuts it across the face, but the defender was there to clear. Now it's Adams who, the half clearance. Marshall, was he fouled? No, says the referee, but he's down holding his head. In the meantime, it's Marafiotti who's onside. Great challenge there from Daniel Jones. And that's going to be a corner. In the meantime, Jake Marshall is still down, so the referee has come across, and the South Melbourne medic is now on the ground. But a few really good moments there for South Melbourne. And Marafiotti, for a moment, looked like he may have had a chance to make it 2-1.
Yeah, well, a frantic for a few minutes, Brandon. I mean, how good is this? The game's really come to life after that Jerry Salados goal. And, well, the challenge now is firmly back on Green Gully. When they scored, we questioned how South Melbourne would respond. But they did that in the best way possible with that goal. And, well, now the challenge is firmly back in the opposite corner on Gully. And, well, the early signs sort of suggest that it hasn't been the best response from them. Of course, Alex Salmon gave the ball away fairly carelessly in a dangerous area of the pitch and allowed South Melbourne to launch a quick counter-attack. So potentially this break in play will well and truly work in Gully's favour.
Well, Marshall is still down getting treatment here, so he's just going to delay the proceedings. He slowly gets to his feet, the South Melbourne centre-back. It was quite a hefty challenge with Jonathan Boonus in the centre of the park. So it looks like they may be running through a little concussion test to just make sure that Marshall is okay to continue. As he slowly walks himself off the ground. In the meantime, it is going to be a South Melbourne corner, and Marcus Schrone rather, is standing over it. So Jake Marshall just gets across to halfway. So it's going to be a corner kick here, taken by Schrone. Good delivery. Adams was there, cleared away. Now the ball comes back out towards the halfway line. Norton got himself underneath it well. Lambropoulos elects to go back to his goalkeeper in Nikola Roganovic. So he goes high and long forward. Flick on there, but there is an offside flag raised. So it is going to be a Green Gully free kick, as the rain's certainly starting to come down here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, all the way under the covers here, which we thought we'd situated ourselves high enough, Joel, but seems like the rain is still finding us.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of wind around as well, so that's certainly pushing it back in our face. It's probably not so good, like me, if you've got paper notes. Maybe I should have taken a leaf out of your book, Brandon, and used the old mobile phone. Might have to get with the times and transition to the new way of doing it. 21st century technology, mate. No paper, no pens. Everything online, as is the NPL these days. Great to see the coverage of the World Game all over the state and all over Australia, with a number of the other NPL leagues in New South Wales and the likes all starting with live broadcasts of all of their games. Great opportunity to see what has been a really entertaining game of football so far. And at 1-1 in the 30th minute here, there's still plenty to go, as both these sides, as we said, either will be in contention for finals or closer towards the relegation zone, albeit in a very early point of the season following whatever result comes today. And for both of these proud clubs with plenty of history in Victorian football, neither of them will want to be anywhere near that bottom three. As that ball goes over the top, Jones with the clearance. Now Salados does well. Salados in the end doesn't win a free kick, but now the ball goes across to Adams. Now Marshall, who looks to have somewhat recovered from his earlier head injury, although
that pass there was quite wayward. Jones gets across. And in the end, it is going to be a Green Gully throw as Jordan Lampard goes across to take. Looks up for options. He's got Boonis just down the line. Goes towards him, but Stratomitros got ahead to the ball. Now Ethan Gage, who will look to reset across to Norton. Off the back of Fletcher, Norton did well under some initial pressure there. The ball slipped through and just couldn't quite find the feet of Marcus Schrone. So Jared Tyson is quickly off his line and again looks to play the ball high and long forward. Marshall just caught underneath the ball there, as was Lambropoulos. And he gets across and ends up winning a throw. So again, it's going to be a South Melbourne ball here as we get into the 32nd minute. Both sides locked at 1-1. A really critical period coming up here in the lead up to half-time, Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, at the moment, the way things are going, certainly going the way of South. They've got the play back on their terms, and well, that break in play probably did help Gully a little bit in that they have settled a bit, and they got to break up the sort of momentum of the play with that break. But yeah, South have come back out with purpose, even though, of course, as we say, that's not the best clearance from Roganovic. But yeah, look, interesting little period for Gully. They wouldn't want to be spending too long in arrears because, of course, they want to take the crowd out of the game as well. And as we've heard at various points, it is a very vocal South crowd, as it always is. So they'll be looking to keep the noise out of it.
Well, Boonis now out to Walker. Right-hand side, Jeremy Walker hasn't been able to get as advanced as he would like. He did create that early chance for Salmon, and that's the danger that he can possess. That's a great switch of play in the meantime from Hall. Now it's Lampard who crosses in towards the back post. Salmon was underneath it, just couldn't quite time his run to meet that ball. Now it comes out to Cruceratus. He goes back again to Norton, who clips it over the top. Great little combination, though, from Marafiotti, and Cruceratus is away. But a good challenge there from Jones again coming across. And that's going to be a throw-in here for South Melbourne again. And you just wonder which side can grab this ascendancy and get a really important goal going into half-time. As we said, they've both had their periods in this contest, but neither have really been able to break away and grab the second, although South have been near it as Jones went right through the back of Marafiotti there. But Gage is on the ball now, and he looks up centrally. Marafiotti skips around his initial challenge. Ball falls to Cruceratus. Beats one, gets it back a second time. Now Siliados is outside. He strikes it, but he puts it just wide. And that is going to be a goal kick again for Green Gully. But South Melbourne, they're starting to win that midfield battle, Joel. And you can just see there, the chances are being created, especially with Siliados out wide. He's always dangerous.
Yeah, they are. And even on the other side, on the left, through Cruceritis, they're really getting some joy on both flanks, South Melbourne. And, of course, Silados is really drifting inside a lot as well. So they're getting plenty out of him. And, of course, we did question where the goals would come from. And he's giving them so much impetus going forward. He looks dangerous every time he gets it, Jerry Silados. He either has a go from distance or has made something happen.
Well, he's certainly, as you said, a player who have much interest here at South Melbourne. And that's going to be a corner in the meantime for Green Gully, and a chance here now, potentially, for Green Gully to get this ball into the box again. And while they haven't had many chances in the run of open play, but these set pieces will certainly be an opportunity for them as they've got the likes of Jones and Boonis in the box here. So it is going to be Davies to cross, and he gets it a good delivery. It comes across, and the header there, I think it was Fletcher, who just couldn't quite direct it. And in the end, it's going to be Nikola Roganovic to take the goal kick. And he looks up and tried to find Slados, but that time Lampard in the way of it. Now Gage gets it to Lambropoulos. Hasn't got much forward, so goes back to Ethan Gage. And again, all the way back to Nikola Roganovic, who he put under some pressure there by Salmon, so forced again to clear, and again puts the ball straight out of play for a throw. I think we put the moz on him early, Joel, because he hit a few really nice clips over the top. And being a goalkeeper myself, there's no better feeling than hitting a real nice ball out from the back. But after that, he's sort of missed, I think, 5 or 6 of the next few. But a testament to Gully's pressure, though, because they are stepping up quite nicely and when they are putting South under pressure in deep areas, they really are restricting the options going forward. But now it is Marcus Schrone, and this is the part where South are dangerous, though, because when they are breaking the lines they're creating, and it's Siliados here. Goes back to Marafiotti. Tackled that time by Lampard, and Bayou goes inside to Boonus. Got options left and right. Lampard now just holds it up and finds Boonus again, who's been buzzing around in that midfield. Davies now across to Hall, and Gully again can try and just keep the ball in a higher area of the ground. So Hall gets it long forward. Salmon. Lambropoulos did well to come across. Marshall sold Reganovic a task. That time the clearance was poor, and it's Walker. But Gage wins back, and now again a chance for South Melbourne to counter-attack. It's Cruceradis on the left-hand side. Holds it up, does Nick Cruceradis, gets into the box. Tackled initially, Stratomitros delivers, it's Siliados at the back post. He's offside. Jerry Siliados, and that will be a free kick for Green Gully, a let-off there.
Yeah, good play again from South. When they're getting on the ball, more often than not, they're really attacking quickly and putting Gully under some pressure, going in the opposite direction. And again, Siliados involved there. And I mean, sometimes, Brandon, you subconsciously notice players, particularly when they're as recognisable as Jerry Siliados. But he really has been extremely dangerous in this first half. South are looking for him a lot, and so they should. He's looking extremely confident and getting the ball in some really dangerous areas. And as we say, he's looking unpredictable. He's not just sticking wide, he's coming inside a bit as well, and of course scored a brilliant goal, so he should be feeling really good about himself.
Now the ball inside to Boonus, and Bayou. Lambropoulos doing well that time to win it. Now Siliados looks up for Perry Lambropoulos, and he just couldn't quite get there. In the end, he might have fouled John Lampard, but the referee's given a goal kick here as we start to tick towards the final few minutes of this first half, and the rain's certainly starting to bucket down now in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. Now that clearance was poor, but Gage couldn't quite read the ball, and now Boonus, good combination to Davies, and now Green Gully looking forwards. Walker, Davies, back to Walker, just holds it up, and Davies again, all the way back to Hall. And again, a lovely switch of play there from Jordan Hall to find Lampard, and Bayou under some pressure initially, couldn't quite beat the challenge. And Siliados again, he's really been everywhere. Marafiotti under some pressure. In the end, it's come off the South Melbourne man, and that's going to be a throw in the way of South Melbourne. So quite fortunate there to keep possession. As now it's Lambropoulos just standing over the throat. Gets it in towards Gage, but a strong header there from Lampard. And well, we mentioned earlier, but you look at the benches now, and it was something which will come more into effect in the second half. But South Melbourne, as we mentioned, in terms of game changes, Lemonopoulos definitely one you look at to come off the bench, and he's someone who is returning from injury. He's had a disrupted pre-season. He did come off the bench last week and offered some danger. And again, he'll certainly be someone to look to, you'd think, to potentially open this game up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the good thing about Lemonopoulos for South Melbourne is he's been there for so long, and having actually spoken to him in the past, he's just someone that loves the club. Well, a giveaway there of possession means that Cruceradis had a bit of space, but just couldn't quite get the ball forward quickly enough to make it count. They still have possession though, so Marafiotti on the right. Cuts onto his left foot, and a good cross in towards Schrone, who had his hands in the back of Fletcher there. And that's going to be a free kick for Green Gully.
Yeah, and getting back onto Monopolis, I mean, it's easy to say, but I love players that end up playing for the team that they supported as a kid, and Lemonopoulos is one of those. He absolutely loves this team. Spoke to him during the FFA Cup actually a couple of years ago, of course, when South made that run all the way to the semi-finals, and he was speaking about how much he loves this football club. And I don't think we can underestimate the value of having those players in your arsenal that just get out there. Of course, fresh legs is certainly one thing, and that's what you want, but having that real passion and drive, and that's not to say that none of these other players do either, but he's someone that really does have that.
We've certainly been around the place a long time, Lemonopoulos. Of course, was here, actually spent a few years in the youth team with him back at South Melbourne in 2011 and 12, and he went across to Werribee City and had a few seasons there, established himself as a player who could potentially give you some impact in the top flight, came back to South Melbourne, and then from there has been involved in a few championships and many successes for the club. And again, it's something which would be important. But you also look at Green Gully's bench, and that's something which you look at quite interestingly. Manny Muscat, T-Boy Kamara, two players of A-League experience, both at completely different ends of their career, but certainly someone, or both of them, options who, Manny Muscat, maybe not someone who's going to come on and score you goals, but certainly someone who can come on and add quality, and T-Boy Kamara is certainly someone who can add that little bit of an X factor should they try and get themselves back into the league, Green Gully.
Yeah, of course, and well put. I mean, certainly if Green Gully managed to find a way into the league, you think we'd see some of Manny Muscat, and if they're chasing the game, then I think we're likely to see T-Boy Kamara. He's an interesting one because, of course, we know he did have that little bit of illness after he sort of broke onto the scene with Adelaide United all those years ago as a 15-year-old, but I almost feel with T-Boy Kamara as though he was sort of thrust onto the scene in the A-League a little too early under Rooney Coolin. I almost felt as though he was thrown in there almost as a solution to Adelaide's problems at the time, and the coach kind of said, hey, it's your problem now, let's kind of create a distraction and put this 15-year-old out there. So I think it was a little bit unfair on him in a way. So, I mean, he's always been one I've been interested in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that he can continue to work his way up through the NPL and potentially one day find his way back there, because he's certainly a player, as we've seen, with plenty of potential that has had some challenges.
Well, that ball forward here again as we tick in towards the final minute of the first half, and Lambropoulos has done well there to find Salados, who just cuts back, and now that ball given away though. So Purcell, Boonis, back into Hall, now across to Walker. He finds Fletcher, who under some immediate pressure from Norton, who did win the ball cleanly, and now Gage finds a feed to Marafiotti. Good combination, and that one just not able to find the second ball. But you can just see there, South Melbourne, when they are breaking the lines and finding the feet of Marafiotti in that central position, it really is allowing them to create chances. And again there, you could just see if they'd gotten that combination just right, there would have been a goal-scoring opportunity there. But now in the meantime, it's Bayu who covers possession. Boonis runs into a little bit of a blockade there from South Melbourne, and now it's going to be Lambropoulos to take a throw as the referee, or the assistant referee rather, has his time on the board, and it looks like it's going to be 1 minute to be added on. Now Salados does well, finds Marafiotti. He's got Salados just inside him. Marafiotti goes himself, but not able to get it on target, and again it's going to be a goal kick here for Green Gully. Good little combination. Salados again getting forward, and Marafiotti that time just not able to direct the shot on target.
Yeah, probably a little bit ambitious from Marafiotti, but you know what, with 1 minute of stoppage time about to go up, Brendan, or I'm sure it has gone up by now, but yeah, from that position, probably worth a go. Not a lot of time left on the board. 3 minutes, in fact, has just gone up rather. So, yeah, maybe in the end, maybe not the best option with 3 minutes going up. I think for now, certainly the priority for both teams has to be not conceding. I think both will be relatively content to go into the break at 1-1 and won't want to concede.
So now a chance for Fletcher on the right-hand side. Still a chance to get the ball in the box potentially, but Chris Aradis has done well to win that back. And that pass straight into the feet of Jay Davies. Is there a late chance for Gully to create something, but again given away? So Adams hasn't got much on forwards. So all the way back to Reganovic. He goes high towards Salados, but Lampard again coming across. Now Marshall tried to split the gap there between the two Gully defenders, but again given away. Gage on the ball. Now out to Norton, who has a little bit of space to come into here. He's got a few runners in front of him. Tried to pick out Chris Aradis, though, was nowhere near it. That ball goes out for a throw again. You see both sides relatively happy to ease themselves into the halftime break. As Walker takes the throw, flicked on, only as far as Norton. He gets it high forwards. Marafiotti came off his back, falls to Schrone, who drives into the box marker. Schrone, great block again though from Jones. And another opportunity here for South, potentially one of the final chances of the half. And Marcus Schroen again, they're just getting a little bit of room, but a really good blocking challenge again from Jones.
Yeah, good defending by Jones. He's made a couple of really key interventions, but it's a big test for Gully here. You don't want to switch off at a set piece.
So Marcus Schroen standing over it. Ball delivered into the centre of the box. Tyson flapping at it a little bit. Stratometros gets it back central. Jones away. Salados goes wide to Gage. He's under pressure from Bayou. Now Gage centres back into Norton, who looks to get it wide. Cruceratus clips it in towards the middle, but Jones again does well to get it away. And now Stratometros again. So we tick into the last minute of added time. Ball into the box is a good one. Schroen up. Couldn't quite direct the header, and again Jones clears. Stratometros and Boonis going at it. Bayou did well to keep it alive. Now Boonis. He looks up. That's a really good pass, and Lampropoulos just did enough to get himself under that and away. Boonis again gets it down. Salmon. Looked like the referee was about to flag for offside, but Bayou on it now. Last chance of the half, you'd think. Bayou turns Lampropoulos. Gets inside, but Gage covering well. And you think South Melbourne now can just run the clock down to the halftime break as we tick into the 3rd minute. That is halftime here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. And, well, an entertaining first half. Plenty of chances for both sides. 1-1. You'd say a little bit harsh on South Melbourne because they have created probably the better of the opportunities in that first period. But, again, Green Gully, they took their chance early. They'd be disappointed to have conceded so quickly. But now going into the break, it's certainly all to play for.
Yeah, it is. And, look, I think on balance, Brandon, probably South Melbourne, as you say, have probably been the better side, and I think for their part they'll be, of course, disappointed that they're not in front at the break. But what they will be pleased with is how quickly they bounce back from conceding that goal. Jerry Salados has been absolutely fantastic for them, buzzing around, getting the ball in dangerous areas, and I think going the other way for Gully, Jonathan Boonis has been really good in midfield, sort of bringing the ball from those deeper areas going forward. So yeah, a lot to play for in the second half. Of course, we know the situation with the teams. Green Gully on 6, South on 9. So a lot to play for both teams in the second half.
We can just see the statistics that have come up on your screens. Of course, South Melbourne with the majority of the shots and the shots on target. But Green Gully, as we said, when they did get into the final third, they were dangerous. And the likes of Alex Salmon and Matthew Fletcher have been in and around the box. And again, something which South Melbourne will have to watch out for. But we will leave you for the break, and we will get back shortly after this. The halftime in that first half from both sides. I'll get the goal scorers up for us shortly. I've had a little bit of a blank here, but it is Brandon Galgano joined again by Joel Ferrucci. And Joel, well, we saw a really competitive first half there. Of course, Gully took the lead through Fletcher in the 24th minute, but Jerry Salados equalised in the 26th. Now a really big opportunity for both these sides as we come into the second period.
Yeah, massive. And if you're Green Gully, you're probably looking to sort of wrestle a bit of control of the game back in their favour. And if they can start the half like they did the first, then they'll be fairly pleased with themselves. But South Melbourne so far for the opening 45, for the most part, very much the better side. Green Gully had their moments, certainly probably the first 90 seconds, and then after they scored, they had a good couple of minutes. But other than that, South Melbourne were fairly in control of the game, you'd have to say. So it's going to be interesting to see how both teams have come out and what messages have been sent, because it's a massive 3 points up for grabs.
Well, no changes for either side evidenced at the break, so we will return as the sides remained at the end of that first period, as Lambropoulos was beaten over the top there, got in a strong challenge afterwards on Fletcher. We mentioned in the first half a few really important performers, but Salados was certainly one of them. Really dangerous whenever he got the ball for South, and he scored, of course, the equaliser in at that back post. And again, he's someone who they really could look to get that go-ahead goal. Of course, for Green Gully, they were quite plucky in that first half. They took their chance well early in that initial period, and following that, there were a few chances for South Melbourne either side, but weren't really able to find the back of the net. And in the end, it does mean the Gully are still in this game. And, well, it's been the story of the last few weeks for South Melbourne, creating chances, playing some good football, but not quite finding the back of the net. And we are in a results business here at senior level, and certainly results are needed for both these sides. As Shrone gets a head onto it, but Hall comes forward. Now Bayou tried to find Boonus. Bayou does well in the end and drives past a few plays. That's a great little nutmeg too from Bayou. Now he clips it into the middle, falls to Boonus, and that time he's maybe just rushed the delivery back to his winger, but good little spark there, and he did get on the ball a little bit in that first half, did Adisu Bayou, but just hasn't maybe been able to get himself into some really dangerous areas to really hurt South Melbourne.
Yeah, he's picked up the ball a few times, but like you say, Brandon, not necessarily in damaging positions, but he has been fairly impressive when he's picked up the ball. I recall to the left of our screen as Boonus sends one into the grassy area behind the goal, a massive roost there. But Bayou he's picked up the ball in a couple of good areas, not necessarily damaging, but he's looked pretty fleeting when he has done it. Just to the left of our screen in the first half, a nice little turn going down the left-hand side, and again, just there got past his man. So he's certainly one to keep an eye on. But if Green Gully could maybe slip him in behind, he's one that could potentially do some damage on the scoreboard.
Well, Boonus coming forward, just couldn't quite get that ball forward there. Of course, his shot initially going a fair way over the bar. Whoever's in charge of the fines committee here at Green Gully, surely he's contributing to their end-of-season trip fund with that one. Now the ball played forward there to Breeze, and sorry, not by Breeze, no longer at the club, but Che Davies rather. Matthew Breeze, of course, a former Green Gully player, and a similar look to, and maybe play style as well, to his counterpart in Davies, as that ball from Ruganovic goes out, and you can see the frustration on his face there, Nikola Ruganovic. So now it's going to be a throw here for Green Gully. We mentioned at the end of that first half, of course, the benches for both of these sides certainly possessing a lot of talent. And as we said, the likes of Manny Muscat and T-Boy Kamara on the bench for Green Gully, and for South Melbourne, Lee Monopoulos, of course, waiting in the rings. Certainly someone who you can rely on to get up a go-ahead goal. You think one of the best-known impact players in the NPL over the last 4 or 5 years, Lee Monopoulos. It is always hard being labelled an impact player, isn't it? And there are certain players who go through their careers almost being typecasted to that role, and Lee Monopoulos has certainly been one of them, to be fair. He doesn't start as many games, but he certainly has an impact whenever he does come off the bench.
Yeah, he does, and just on that title, Brendan, you're right in saying that. It's one of those ones where it's almost.
Sorry, we're getting away there. Samino, he's just offside. Well, that could have been an opportunity. And again, the distribution from the back from South Melbourne, almost biting him in the bum. That one there is going to be a free kick.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right. Getting back to this whole impact player thing. I mean, certainly, at this level, it might be a bit different to the senior level, but certainly at a professional level, when people say that, oh, you're a good impact player, I guess that leaves you thinking, well, why am I just a good impact player? I can be more than just a good impact player, and should be looking around for first team opportunities or some more minutes. So it is, in some respects, a bit of a poison chalice, so to speak, in that you enjoy. I'm sure some players would enjoy it, but it's one of those ones where it's probably not the best thing to be known as. I think you'd rather be known as someone that starts and impacts a game.
Lambropoulos on the ball here, goes back into Gage, who looks up, tries to find the feet of Marifiotti, but again, just a half clearance there from Purcell. Ball goes high in the air again. Has been a little bit of aerial ping pong, but now Salmon, and he's got Fletcher on. Oh, whoa, he was offside just, to be fair, and the Green Gully bench is right up on arms there. That did not look far offside at all. I'm just looking at the replay here, and from what I looked at there, Joel, he looked like he was level, and Matthew Fletcher is certainly making that known to the fourth official.
Yeah, it was tight, and we had a great view of that as well. Probably a bit of a let-off from South. As spectators, as football people, we always like to see the advantage given to the attacking team, and certainly from here, it looks as though that one could potentially have been let go.
Lambropoulos on the right here. Got a bit of time to angle the delivery, but the ball in the box was poor. Gage got underneath it. Now it's... Well, Gage does really well there to win that back, actually. Salmon was almost going to get away. Now Ethan Gage just shuffles across and gets the ball out to Luke Adams. His touch wasn't great, but he recovers possession and now looks forwards. Brad Norton on the ball. Goes back to Luke Adams. Clips it forward towards Marifiotti, but that's a poor pass. And Jones again winning it back, and well, everyone just stopped for a moment, and Fletcher all of a sudden is in. Good chance here for Gully, but Marshall got across to make the challenge, and well, you've got to be concerned there. Just looked like Jake Marshall, Perry Lambropoulos and Matthew Fletcher, to be fair, all stopped for a moment, and in the end, South lucky to get away with that. And it's going to be a corner kick here for Gully. Davis coming across to take.
Miscommunication, and to be fair, it shouldn't really happen at this level and at that area of the pitch. That's a real worry for South, and for Green Gully. They want to make the most of these set pieces.
So Jay Davies on the ball, whips the ball into the middle. Good delivery, flicked away by Marshall, and it will be a Green Gully throw. So Walker comes across to take. A good start here though from the visitors. They've come out looking to play and create chances. Boonis on the ball again. He's been dangerous all day. Bayou, he's come into it more in the second half. Good ball into Walker. Combination with Boonis, read well by Adams, but now it's Boonis again. Skips past his marker, and Norton in the end did just enough to win himself a goal kick. Really experienced play there from the South Melbourne captain. Now it's going to be Reganovic to take the goal kick. So 53 minutes gone here in this clash. Of course, 1-1. South Melbourne and Green Gully. Salados and Fletcher the goal scorers for either side. And Gully, they might have ended the first half on the back foot, but they've certainly started the more aggressive era in the second period as Salmon just tried to find Bayou. Norton did just enough. Gets it back to Reganovic. They've done well to keep that in the end, South. Norton smartly plays it off Bayou there, so it's going to be a throw. Takes it quickly, Gage, so Stratomitros rather. Goes back to his skipper, who plays it high and long forward. Chris Aradis tried to flick on, but Jones was there. Dallied on it though. Oh, that's a harsh free kick. Marifiotti looked like he got the ball, and Green Gully certainly gone away with that one because they had players left and right, and Salados looked like he was making a run out wide as well.
Yeah, they did, and a couple of, for both teams really, a couple of moments with the officials that they certainly haven't been happy with. I guess you could argue that maybe it was a bit of a, how they say, an evener, canceller out. But of course, Green Gully had that, what we think was a marginal offside only a few minutes ago.
Well, they do say in football there's plenty of swings and roundabouts, and usually things come back to you. So again, maybe that one there for both sides. Salmon, who's certainly been working hard in this early period of the second half to try and get himself on the ball centrally. Now the ball comes out. Was the ball out of play? Yes, says the linesman. So it's going to be a throw for South Melbourne. So Lambropoulos out there to take as the rain starts to come down again. Well, Melbourne certainly hasn't made its mind up about this weather today, because it was sunny for a little period there towards the end of the first half and at half time, but the rain clouds have come back out. Now it's Lampard, finds Salmon. Wasn't able to keep the ball though, so Lambropoulos gets it forward. Marifiotti that time just heading it straight down, and now it's Boonus on the turn. He looks up. Good ball in front of Walker. Will the speed of the pitch beat him? It will. So it's going to be a throw in here for South Melbourne, who have started a little slowly in this second period, especially considering the frantic end to the first half and the amount of chances they did create in that final period. So Schrone gets it forward. Jones underneath it, does well. Now it's Walker, Bayou. Schrone wins back. Norton looks up, Gage. Now Schrone. That's a good pass. Marifiotti turns well. He's got Salados by himself on the right. He goes himself to Marifiotti, and he just couldn't quite get it inside. And well, he just didn't quite see Salados there, because he was in acres of space on that right-hand side if he was to find him. But some really good play from Marifiotti, and now it's going to be a corner for South Melbourne.
Yeah, echo those sentiments, Brandon. Good play from Marifiotti, but he just had to look up and see Salados there, who was in acres and acres of space, as you said.
Good chance here. Corner kick, first one of the second half for South Melbourne. Into the box, Adams underneath it, headed away. Cruceratus in a battle there with Jeremy Walker. He goes back to Norton. Plays a really nice ball to Schrone. Into the box here to Schrone, and he just couldn't quite get that delivery right. And in the end, it's out for a goal kick in South Melbourne. Just see there, slowly getting themselves into the second period, but again, final ball just not there.
Yeah, unfortunate for South as well, because they were really building up some pressure there, and just a nothing ball from Schrone, neither a cross nor a shot. In the end, just sailed over into the construction site behind the goal. But I think what's been positive for South in this half is that Jonathan Boonus hasn't seen as much of the ball. He certainly hasn't been, I'd say, as, I use the word damaging a bit loosely. He got sort of a lot of the ball.
It's a great pass forward from Stratomitros and Salados now. Salados cuts back, good pass, Stratomitros! Good save from Jared Tyson. Did just enough to get that away from the goal. Now it's Cruceratus, cuts in on his left again, and Purcell getting across, really good diving header. And he did just enough to get that ball away, so it will be another corner. And well, Jared Tyson in the first half made a similar save in the end of Felder Salados, and he equalised, but that one had a really strong hand to push that away from the goal and out of the danger zone.
Yeah, good keeping from Jared Tyson, and Gully will want that confidence from their keeper, of course, someone vastly experienced at A-League level with Western Sydney Wanderers and Gold Coast United. You want that from your keeper, particularly in these conditions.
Schrone, good delivery into the box again, cleared away. Gage out there, so he gets it back to Lambropoulos. And now it's Norton. Got a bit of time to angle across, and he's got plenty of options to aim for. In the end, goes over the top of Adams, and Boonus just hooks it clear. Now it's a one-on-one here, and it's not something you'd want defensively, but Lambropoulos took a good positive touch forwards, and in the end, he's almost found the run of Salados. But the defender in Jones got across and did just enough to get it out for a throw. And just like in the first half, South Melbourne, when they do spark up, all of a sudden the chances are being created. And it almost goes hand in hand with how loud the crowd get as well. Because whenever South do create chances, you can hear that support come vibrating through from the Clarendon corner. Now out Clarendon in Northcote, of course. As Jared Tyson holds that cross. Looks up again, looks to deliver high and long forward, sets Salmon a task. Marshall is well marshalled. Excuse the pun, has marshalled him well today. Pardon the pun, rather. Now it's a chance here to come forward again, but Lambropoulos wins it back. Now Salados, Marifiotti, he's offside. He just didn't quite have sight of the line there, and he just moved a little bit early. That one may be justified, but again, quite close there. Good opportunity. And again, Jerry Salados getting chances facing forwards, creating some dangerous opportunities.
Yeah, close. Salados involved again. He's someone that has just stayed on top in this game. And, interesting that there was no yellow card brandished there, because that ball was just well after the whistle, just straight into the construction zone. So some leniency shown there by the referee.
Well, Lambropoulos wasn't happy with the close attention there from Jay Davies, and he's made that well known to the Englishman. Now it's going to be a free kick here for South Melbourne again. So Stratomitros stands over it. Just indicates that he wants some movement in front of him. In the end, he just plays it forward over towards Marfiotti, but Lampard got the header on, flicked forwards, but only as far as Stratomitros, who got it across the gauge here, who drives forward well. Looks for the runner, Schrone. It's a good pass. Schrone will get there. So now it's Walker. Holds it up. Norton inside. Does well. Clips it back into the middle. And Marfiotti could only find the hands of a very thankful Jared Tyson. Some great play from South Melbourne out wide. And Brad Norton doing well to find that bit of space and get that ball into the middle. And Marfiotti, he just scuffed his lines a little bit. The ball sort of divoted into the ground, and in the end, straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, Brandon, I was just waiting for the net to bulge there. I thought for sure Marfiotti had to put the ball into the back of the net there. I mean, he was one-on-one essentially with the goalkeeper. All he had to do was put it either side of Tyson, and he would have scored. And in the end, it was just straight at him. It was a bizarre moment, and, well, a waste of chance for South Melbourne. That was a gilt-edged opportunity. You've just got to take those, especially, as we know, in the position they're in, where they only have scored 5 goals for the entire season.
Well, football is all about taking your chances. And again there, South Melbourne just not quite able to find the back of the net, and they'll be potentially punished here as Fletcher comes up. That's a great delivery to Salmon, and he's just put the shot wide. And when we spoke about taking your chances, Green Gully haven't had as many, but that was certainly an opportunity. A wonderful cross from Fletcher, and Alex Salmon at the back post. Really, you'd feel, should have put that into the back of the net, as there is a change being made, and it is Manny Muscat coming on. And interestingly, it's Jonathan Boonis coming off for Green Gully.
I wonder if this change is really just for the sake of Gully, just trying to potentially shut things down a little bit more, wrestle control back, inject that experience to do just that, because we've seen that South again, Brandon, are starting to get a bit on top. A lightning quick counter-attack there from Gully, but apart from that, they've very much been on the back foot. So Manny Muscat clearly is that guy that can just get stuck in and sort of try and wrestle control back, and maybe just slow things down and make sure, and lead essentially.
Well, he's gotten himself involved straight away there, Muscat. Gets the ball forward towards Davies. Now Davies cuts into the box, cuts it in towards Muscat again. He's bustled his way into the area, but South Melbourne do just enough to get that ball away. And again, comes forward, Marfiotti. Jones marshalling him well. Looks for the run of Salmon, but Roganovic was quick off his line and able to get out to the feet of the striker there. And well, we said we put the mods on him with his distribution earlier. It's another one there, straight out of the ground, almost into the lower window here at John Cain Memorial Reserve, where the members area is located. Now Tyson, he gets it high and underneath it. Adams, strong. Schrone couldn't quite get his touch under. Great defending there from Hall. But in the end, couldn't quite find Walker. You just feel the tempo of this game lifting here. As we said, both sides in desperate need of a win. Well, that header into the face of Timmy Purcell. Falls to Schrone. He's got options in the middle. He goes towards them. Just falls out to Salados. Salados has done well. Stratomitros strikes into the feet of Hall, who did well to block. He stayed down there, Geordie Hall. It was a little bit of a sore one for him, but play has continued. So Schrone, under pressure there from Purcell. Goes back to Adams and now across to Marshall. Lambropoulos. Under pressure, lost it to Fletcher. Now an opportunity. Good centering pass. It's Salmon in the box, but a good challenge. And Perry Lambropoulos again being caught. He's been caught a few times. Davies. Ball whipped in, back post. Headed away. Now it's Hall. And he couldn't quite keep it alive. And South Melbourne survive again. End to end at the moment, Joel.
Yeah, it is, and well, shout out to all the short corner enthusiasts out there that were watching that. And I mean, I dispute that was the right option from Gully. I mean, the fact that they are on the back foot, just put it into the box and back in your big men to make something of that ball. When you are on the back foot, of course, you do need to make the most of set pieces, and that was a great chance there for them. They've had a few opportunities in the last sort of 15 minutes or so, a few quick counter attacks, and they're looking dangerous. They're just gonna make sure they're keeping on their toes, South Melbourne, because they have been the better team. But I mean, on balance, you always, as that better side, you've got to be careful of what's happening out the back.
Norton. He's got Cruceratus up for him. That's a good pass. Nick Cruceratus blocked. Falls to the back post. Salados just couldn't quite get there. Lampard got a head on it, but Salados will keep this alive. Now a chance to cross. Holds it up. Lampard did well. And in the end, it is a throw again for South Melbourne. So now Cruceratus. Was he being held? Referee says no. The whole South Melbourne bench there doing their warm-up up in arms. Lambropoulos gets it back to Marshall. Now across to Adams. He hasn't got much on, so he goes back to Reganovic here. Reganovic that time electing just to go high and long. Schrone. Now Gage. Decent delivery. Cruceratus, he's got Norton overlapping again. Cruceratus beats his man well, beats a second into the box. Good defending from Purcell and was fouled by Norton. Norton again feels like he got the ball. He's not happy with that one. You can just see Nick Cruceratus when he's getting in those wide areas, he's hurting them. Just couldn't quite get the space that time to get a shot away, but out wide on both sides, South Melbourne certainly causing some problems.
Yeah, purposeful play there from Cruceratus, and yeah, well, both the flanks are a real problem area for Gully, but somewhere that South Melbourne are really getting some joy, particularly as we know out of Salados. But you know, you don't want to be too imbalanced when it comes to those flanks, as we hear a mighty bang up the back. Someone's clearly getting frustrated, Brendan. You
wouldn't be at a South Melbourne game if you didn't hear multiple chairs and walls being bashed during a game. I think it's something which just comes with the passionate supporter base in the NPL. Manny Muscat. Lambropoulos giving it away again. Now it's a chance for Davies. Purcell caught under pressure. Marafiotti winning it. Now it's Schrone. Jones, he's done well. He's done well all day, to be fair. There's Daniel Jones. Very experienced campaigner. Salmon. Good switch of play. Walker. He's got Cruceratus coming right up behind him, but he does well to find Bayou now. Got a bit of space here. Looks to go at his marker. Beats one. Bayou delivers away. Now coming forward is Purcell. Cries a handball not given. Back out to Bayou again. He delivers first time. It's a good ball. And the flick down from Salmon was trying to find Fletcher, but just couldn't quite get there. And Reganovic again scuffing his clearance. Purcell giving it away. Schrone in a battle. And that time went in late, so the referee gives Marcus Schrone a yellow card. So you can just feel in there, it's such a tight one at the moment. Both these sides really working to get themselves in it. Now, I think the referee is calling Brad Norton across. Now, I'm not sure what exactly for. I know Nortz has certainly had a thing to say or two to the referee throughout. And it looks like it might be just a warning. Now, Schrone's already been given a yellow, and he's getting a bit of a talking to from the referee about his conduct. Norton just across now. I'm not sure why he called Brad Norton in there. But it's going to be a free kick here for Green Gully. Around 40 yards or so out from the Gully goal, and it's only somewhere where there could be some danger. So Purcell standing over it. Clips it into the box. Wasn't a great ball. And Salados beats one. He's got a runner inside, but Cruceratus was offside. I think Salados saw that because he did look to play that pass, but Cruceratus just didn't have a look across the line there. So now the throw taken quickly. And Shrone. Back to Gage. Now Stratometros. To Lambropoulos. Got a bit of space to attack here, Lambropoulos, but the ball a bit ahead. Salados did well, but goalkeeper holds. It's going to be a Green Gully ball.
Well, it was a great opening just before for Salados, and just seemed to hesitate. He certainly didn't play that ball early enough, and by the time, as you pointed out, Brandon, by the time he did, the ball was gone.
So a great touch there from Salmon. He almost rolled his man with a mid-air sort of turn and flick. Now that time, Jones didn't quite get it away. Salados gets on it again, cuts in Chrysaradis, who's come into more of a central area in the last few moments. Cleared again. Now Salados crosses, but Purcell does well. Clears away. Lambropoulos, his arms all over him there from Fletcher. Arms from both sides, to be fair, and in the end, it's going to be a South Melbourne free kick. Been an intriguing battle, that one. As Lemonopoulos is looking like he's getting ready to come on, and it's going to be Giuseppe Marafiotti to come off. And coming on is Demonopoulos, as we said, a seasoned impact player at South Melbourne, coming back off a little bit of an injury layoff, missed most of pre-season. Came off the bench last week against Pascoe Vale and had a good impact, and certainly someone which they'd be looking at to get some goals.
Yeah, for sure. Excited to see what Lemonopoulos can do. And, well, Giuseppe Marafiotti leaves the field probably knowing that he should have given South Melbourne the lead. I mean, his chance was, I think, without question, the best one that we've seen in the game, aside from the 2 goals that we've seen. Of course, Alex Salmon had a good chance for Gully down the other end, but that was a great opportunity that he did have. Just had to put it either side of the keeper, he would have scored. Walker
did well to win that ball, but was given away. And now Gage uses his body really well, and it's Norton on it here. Central pass. Shrone turns. Looks up. Just couldn't quite find Monopoulos. So it's Geordie Hall who just twists and turns on it. Picks out Walker, but again, couldn't quite get it down and given away. So Gage looks up. Chrysaradis is offside. Again, they'll be disappointed with that. So Jared Tyson standing over this free kick as we tick in towards the last 20 minutes, or inside the last 20 minutes now. Still locked at 1-1 here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. High ball forward, flicked on. Gage under pressure. Won well there by Salmon. He's been really busy in this second period. He almost found Bayou with the pass, but cleared away. Reganovic off his line, gives a strong call, and just holds it up now, so Nikola Reganovic will just take his time over this. And then blast it straight back to Jared Tyson. So now Green Gully look to come forward. Manny Muscat, he's been busy since coming on. And just like in the first half, the Moz on someone's distribution has been paid through. So Muscat gave it away that time. Now it's Chrysaradis. Back to Norton. Now Gage. Turns well, keeps it well. Adams. Marshall. Looks up, tries to find Salados, but too much on that. And it's going to be another goal kick here for Green Gully. As it looks like another change is being readied. And it's going to be number 16, Will Siamis, coming on. And coming off is Tim Purcell. An experienced campaigner coming off. And Siamis, again, another physical midfielder coming in. So the youngster gets his opportunity. It's the high and long ball forward. Adams up high. Muscat gets it down. Now it's Walker. Davies, good flick. Manny Muscat tried to find Fletcher, given away that time. Now a chance again here. Lampard tried to flick it forwards, but Shrone and Gage were all around the ball. Now Salados to Shrone. Good centering pass. Stratomitros couldn't quite get there. And again, Davies caught flat-footed. So Gage just picks up the ball, goes back into Lambropoulos. Now Marshall. Cross here to Luke Adams. Now Chrysaradis. And again, Gage doing well to just recycle possession and just get it forward through Marshall here, who, again, comes forward on the ball. Given away, though, so South will be frustrated there. Had a bit of time on that. Now Davies with a chance to come forward. Siamis. His first touch, and wasn't a good one from the young midfielder as it goes out for a throw. Well, you just got to think, Joel. They've still got the likes of T-Boy Kamara on the bench. Green Gully has maybe lulled into that similar sort of tempo we saw towards the midway point of the first half, where neither side was really looking to get forward and attack. Just got to think there's got to be a spark from somewhere for one of these ties to get that result, which they both desperately need.
Yeah, well, it's we've hit a bit of a lull in the game, I think, and Green Gully have one more card to play, and well, at the moment you'd have to think that we're likely to see T-Boy Kamara, who can add a bit off the bench, and I guess he's probably, we talk about impact players, he's probably one of those ones. But yeah, it's at an interesting point. Neither side really has, I wouldn't say control at the moment. Probably South Melbourne's still looking a bit better, but Gully are very much back in the game right now, and at the moment it's probably anyone's game.
You said it is. Davies just couldn't quite get that ball forward. Now Norton, and he looks for the run of Monopolis and finds him just, but Tyson, now he's a long way off his line, and Tyson did well enough to get that ball clear. And in the end, it is going to be a South Melbourne throw. So Schrone comes across, takes it quickly to Norton. Chrysaradis. Slados giving it away. Now a chance. Salmon. Gage with a strong challenge on Davies. Ball played forward towards Chrysaradis. Given away. Lampard. Davies. Gage with a good challenge. So going to be another Gully throw. And it's hard to see which side now could potentially come away with a win here. Of course, both have had their little mini periods. Gully have been stronger in the second half. South Melbourne, they started off strongly in that first period, but despite a few early chances, that famous one from Marifiotti mentioned earlier, haven't really troubled Jared Tyson in his goal. So a chance now for Schrone. Looks up, finds Salados. Good ball. Now Salados crosses, deflected, corner. Another chance here.
Yeah, better from South. Good ball from Schrone out to Salados, who you'd think at the moment, Brandon, has to be the key for South. He's been the one all day that's just made things happen. Gully, it's sort of hard to see at the moment who's going to be that man, but a really good opportunity here for South Melbourne. Late in the game especially, as players start to fatigue, you want to make the most of your set pieces and really turn up the screw and keep the ball in your attacking half.
Schrone, good delivery. Fletcher, head is clear. Stratomitros falls, angles a strike, blocked. Corner again. So another chance. As it looks like another change is being readied there for South Melbourne. And they're just mentioning to, well, I think they're doing it now. Or rather, they're doing it after. So Stratomitros is coming off, but the play is being restarted. So referee blows. It's going to be Schrone to take the corner again. Delivers into the middle. Fletcher again heading clear. Norton out there. Norton strikes it. Couldn't quite get it away. And again, Lambropoulos just left in a one-on-one situation there. You'd think it's not an ideal scenario. Now Schrone. Gage given away. Siamis did well. Combines with Salmon. Oh, he's done well. Good little combination there from Siamis. Davies, he looks to have slowed down the last few moments. Not able to keep it. Fletcher. So Berevescos is waiting out in the wings on that touchline, but you won't get the chance to come on just yet till the ball leaves play. So Lambropoulos heading down. Muscat got it to Fletcher. Now he looks for the run of Salmon, but Lambropoulos gets across and used his body well enough. And in the end, it's going to be a goal kick. So there's a change being made, and it is Konstantinos Stratomitros coming off, and coming on is number 8, Dean Berevescos. So change in midfield. Stratomitros, a good display. was busy in there, got plenty of the ball. Tried to get himself forward, but it looks like he might have just pulled up a little lame there. He's just tweaking towards his hamstring, so a change there in midfield for South Melbourne.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry there. And well, we've seen potentially in the last 10 minutes or so a few signs of desperation in the situation at hand. It's really probably a bit of an arm wrestle in midfield at the moment. Neither team has really tested the opposing goalkeeper, and chances very much have been at a premium. And this is really where you want your senior players to stand up, particularly for South Melbourne. Big club don't want to be staying at the bottom, so they want to close the gap on Gully on the table by getting the full 3 points out of this.
Well, Berevescos gave that ball away, so it's going to be another throw here for Gully. So his first touch of the ball, not a great one. Siamis, who, similar to Berevescos, had a gift away of possession in his first impact after coming off the bench, but did well there. And now the ball coming forward there, Bayou. One-on-one with Brad Norton, and he's been dangerous in these situations. Has Bayou, he's got Walker on his right, goes to him, good delivery! Oh, it was a good chance, and it just fell awkwardly there, and Lampropoulos did just enough to get it away. Now it's Cruceratis. Pass is set Monopolis a task, in the end fouled by Muscat, who feels that he had the right of possession. Oh, and the refs just brought it back for a rolling ball, and that could have been a really good breakaway for South. So taken quickly again, Gage wide, Lampropoulos in an advanced position. Salados. Still Salados. Ball in the box, cleared away. Norton gets there first. Set Cruceratis a task, and he's done well enough to, well, initially it looks like he might have done well enough to prevent the goal kick, but he hasn't done so. So it will be Jared Tyson's ball in the Green Gully goal as we are in the final 10 minutes here. And again, it's still one apiece here between South Melbourne and Green Gully, as there is another change being made by the visitors, and it is going to be T-Boy Kamara to come on. And coming off is Adisu Bayou, who had his moments in this game, certainly had a few dangerous periods out wide. And as we mentioned, T-Boy Kamara, once a potential prodigy of Australian football, now with a chance to come off the bench and potentially salvage a win here for Gully.
Yeah, good stage for him to really make an impact off the bench. Bayou was he had an interesting game. He picked up the ball and had a few fleeting moments, but wasn't really able to be dangerous or make anything of note happen up front for Gully. So yeah, a bit of fresh legs in the final third, and potentially a bit of a statement of intent from Gully as well. That they're not just going to sit back and be content with just the 1 point and maintaining that gap, that 3 point gap over South. They're actually going to look to maybe snatch one on the break.
So Fletcher, back to Davies, looks up, switch of play, Walker, Kamara, first touch of the ball, looks to go direct, gets it into the area, but just finds the arms of Raganovic. Then you just see the attacking intent there, so Raganovic, again, just not able to find his target with his distribution, so taken quickly, Hall. Back into Jones. Finds Lampard now, who was blocked off there by Salados. Throw taken quickly. So Jones on it again, looks up. Looks for the run of Salmon, who just gets in front of his marker, but Marshall again does enough. It's going to be a throw. Muscat just puts it down, and you see the tempo of the game has lulled in these last few moments again. You just got to see which side here has enough about them to push through these last moments and get that winning goal. Davies, great feet there in a small space. Now Fletcher delivers into the box, not with a headed clearance, but it falls to Walker. Good covering challenge from Cruceratis. Kamara gets it back. Siamis, back to Kamara, one-on-one with Norton. Delivers centrally, Walker strikes, didn't get any power on it though, and was an awkward one for a moment there for Raganovic, but he did well to clasp that and get it under, and again looks to release quickly, and again the distribution is off, so ball rolls into the arms of Jared Tyson.
Real waste down the other end from Jeremy Walker, who of course is an experienced player, having played in the A-League with a couple of clubs, Melbourne Heart as they were then, Melbourne City, and also Perth Glory recently as well. And probably from a player of his standing in this team, you'd probably expect better than that sort of team effort, really, which turned into essentially a nothing bit of play. So, yeah, disappointing for Gully, particularly when they got themselves forward. They haven't had a lot of those opportunities in the last little period of the game.
So another free kick here, and it's Davies standing over the ball as Green Gully now. These are the opportunities which you'd really be wanting to take. Not long to go, and a great set piece, a chance to throw numbers forward. So it is going to be Davies on this set piece, and he clips it in. Really good ball, and headed clear well. Monopolis underneath it. Finds Gage. Given away. Jones. Kamara. Into the box. T-Boy Kamara. Cuts onto his right. Gets it back onto his left, and just couldn't quite find the delivery into the middle. So Walker gets down there as there is a final change being made by South Melbourne, and it is Jerry Salados coming off, and you can hear the displeasure of the fans at that decision from Kontangalakis. So Salados, the goal scorer, comes off, and on comes Zach Bates. Well, he's a fan favourite. They are not happy about him coming off.
And just been keeping an eye on Jerry Slados as well. He was not happy either to come off. Just some real venom in those high fives of his teammates, which I think there was only one, and he's sat straight down, not even on the bench actually, just in front of one of the advertising hoardings. But you got to wonder what's behind that, because he's been South's best player and still looked like, even late in the game, the one to unlock and break down the doors at the back.
Well, it's Shrone on the ball. He's got Lambropoulos to his right, goes towards him. Jones using all his experience, although that wasn't the best clearance. Bates gets underneath it. Now Shrone under pressure. Gage looks to centre, given away. Salmon, now Davies. This could be a chance. Davies releases Kamara, who's got plenty of pace on him, but Raganovic quick off his line and, well, just did enough. Now Kamara's come across and Raganovic has picked up and run away with the ball, so it's going to be a yellow. Probably had to do that, to be fair, because he was a long way of his line, and if Kamara had gotten that in, it would have been an open goal to aim for. Now it's, well, Kamara's brought down Norton, so that's going to be a free kick. And as we said, the interesting point, going back to Salados, it has been a bit of a topsy-turvy experience for him this year. He's been quite impressive when he's played, but has often been the man that's had to make way and come off. Hasn't started many games, but again today, certainly dangerous, and when we talk about the lack of goals, he's been a provider of them so far this season, but, well, Kontangalakis makes his decision and Bates comes on, so a chance here for Monopolis, but flicked out again for another throw as we tick towards the final few minutes here of normal time. Still locked at one apiece here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. The ball played high and long forward. Lambropoulos strong in the air. Headed away. Muscat. Salmon. He's got some time. Muscat's got Fletcher in front of him. Just caught on the ball, but a great little flick there. Kamara gets away. It's Walker rather. Delivers into the middle. But a good covering challenge from Marshall. Well, another chance here for Green Gully. They're really pushing to get the go-ahead goal. Whipped in, high. Headed away, Lambropoulos towards it. Given away though. And Walker does enough and just gets it over the top. Lambropoulos cushions it down. Monopolis in a really deep position here. Looks up. He's got Chris Radis in a bit of space out on this left-hand side. He looks to drive himself and gives it away again. One back. Bates. Peroveskos. Shrone. Slow on it. Siamis. Breeze looks up. Kamara. He's got Walker again overlapping here. Kamara holds it up. Davies. Now Salmon gets into the box to Salmon, delivers, but couldn't quite find anyone. And that ball goes out for the goalkeepers. It will be a goal kick.
Looking dangerous here, Gully. They're really coming home with a bit of a wet sail. A couple of purposeful attacks in the last sort of 10 minutes or so. Unfortunately for them, haven't been able to really make anything of it or test Nikola Roganovic. And in the way it's going at the moment, Brandon, you just wonder if Gully do make one of these counts, certainly you feel South will be made to rue taking off Jerry Salados, who, I mean, for me, has been man of the match. He was just fantastic before he came off. And, I mean, he's their leading goal scorer with 2 now for the season. So you do wonder still why he was the man sacrificed with about 10 minutes to go.
Bereveskos on the ball. Is there going to be one final moment here for either side? Monopolis was late there. Geordie Hall did really well to come and intercept that. And that's going to be a yellow card for Lee Monopolis. And he just hasn't really been able to get himself into the game. Maybe a bit of frustration about that too, because he's had to come deep a number of times to get the ball and actually receive. And as you just see there, every time they've tried to play it forwards, hasn't really been able to find his feet. Now the ball falls though. Salmon striking well wide and over. And that is going to be another goal kick for Nikola Roganovic as we are into added time here. And the board has gone up, so I can see 4 minutes indicated by the 4th official. Is there one final chance for either side? There's Roganovic. Plays it high forward. Trone flicks on. Hall gets it away. Now Fletcher. Closely marshalled by Bates, who almost snuck in and won the ball, but given away that time. Fletcher taken out by Lambropoulos. So it's going to be another free kick here. So Jay Davies standing over it again. A final chance potentially. Numbers forward for Gully. They need a good delivery here. Davies. High into the box, headed away by Marshall. Now Cruceratis. Is there a final charge here? Cruceratis. Siamis holding him up well. Back into Luke Adams. He looks up and spreads towards Bates, but Tyson was quick off his line. Now releases Davies. Now Bates has gone down there, and it might be a hamstring because he's in a bit of pain and he's only just come off the bench, so that's a concerning sign for South Melbourne. He looks in a bit of pain, Bates, and he's indicating to the bench that he's finished. So South Melbourne will finish this game with 10. Now it's Muscat rather on the ball. Gets it forward to Salmon. Lambropoulos out-muscled once. Still Salmon. Delivers into the area. Fletcher there. Falls. Norton just did enough. Turns and clears. Cruceratis, and he puts it out because his teammate is still down and Bates is in a lot of pain. Holding his hamstring. And he's just indicating, you can see there, to his technical staff that he felt a pop. And for a boy who's just come off the bench and a man that relies a lot on his speed, really frustrating for the young lad, and he looks in a fair bit of pain too. He's just hobbling off really slowly. So that looks like a hamstring. Unfortunate there, Joel.
Yeah, disappointing, particularly when you're, of course, coming off the bench. You're a young kid. You just want to get on there, make an impact, and who knows, potentially maybe make a case for the first team the following week. So really unfortunate there for Zach Bates.
Well, there will be, you'd presume, maybe another minute or so added on to this 4 minutes of stoppage time. So we are 3.5 into 4, but you think maybe there could be another minute or so left for either side. South, in the meantime, are down to 10 men for these last few moments. Bereveskos almost got himself through. Siamis just couldn't quite muscle himself, but he's won it back well. Now Kamara. And they've got numbers in the middle. Manny Muscat with acres of space in front of him. Oh, and his pass was poor. And Lambropoulos. Now Bereveskos to Cruceratis. Turns, looks forward. Hasn't got much in front of him. Centers to Gage. Now Lambropoulos. Monopolis out wide. Good blocking challenge from Lampard. We are in the 4th minute. Only seconds remaining, you'd think here. Is there one final chance? Muskets. Fletcher rather. Salmon couldn't quite keep it alive. And that is full time here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Not the result either side will have wanted here. In the end, it's one apiece. South Melbourne and Green Gully. And, well, you can hear the fans in the background here, the dismay of potentially some of their better players being taken off in Jerry Salados today. But the final score is as is. South Melbourne and Green Gully locked at 1-1. Both sides remain in 8th and 11th on the NPL Victoria table. Not what either would have wanted, Joel.
Yeah, well, certainly I think not what South would have wanted, but you know what, for Green Gully, it's actually not the worst result in the world. They still maintain that 3-point gap over today's opponents. So, I mean, while it's not ideal, they won't be completely displeased. They had their flashes. I think South overall, though, they'll be very disappointed because for the most part, the majority of the game, they were probably the better team. Created the more clear-cut chances. But in the second half, it really just almost descended into a bit of a dogfight, I think. Chances really at a premium. Neither team could really test the opposing goalkeeper, Jared Tyson, and also Nikola Roganovic, not really called into action too much. So I think at the end of the day, Brandon, probably 1-1 is a fair result, but it certainly suits Green Gully more than it does South.
As we said, South Melbourne had that number of chances towards the end of the first half, and that was something which, again, you look back in Maru over the last few weeks, not just today, and South Melbourne's inability to take those has certainly been a bit of a stumbling block for them. And another game where they don't get a result, and another game where they inch closer and closer towards that relegation zone. But at the end of the day, one apiece here at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Joel, thanks for your time today. And again, it's been a pleasure being back in the commentary box with you on a, wouldn't say a fine autumn day in Melbourne, but again, we're certainly getting those reminders that winter is coming.
Yeah, it was a cold one today. I've seen the forecast though for next weekend. It looks a lot better, mid-20s, high 20s. So yeah, hopefully some better conditions next weekend because geez, have to get the fingers and put them in front of the heater in the car on the way home, I think, Brandon.
Well, again, thanks for that, Joel, and thanks for viewing in again at the NPL Victoria live on Facebook here. The final score, South Melbourne 1, Green Gully 1. I'm your commentator, Brandon Galgano. Goodbye for now.